figure out what you want to talk about. I'm not just talking, I'm talking about a theme. My focus is on sales and sales experts right now. That's the themes. That's the kind of guests I want to get. Even those that have more entertaining ones, there's a focus of what they're doing in the process. That's first and foremost.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Loki Genius Podcast, where we talk about the stories behind every podcast. I'm your host, Jovel Delima, and today I'm joined by a true powerhouse in sales, marketing, and business growth, Howard Wolpoff. With over 30 years of experience helping professionals and businesses maximize their potential, Howard has worn many hats, from launching the Brooklyn Cyclones to coaching top sales leaders. He is a podcast host, an author, and now launching his latest show, Sales Momentum, where he shares insights to help professionals close more deals and build lasting success. So, Howard, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes, of course. And also, I am very pleased to have you today with all of your success and all of the insights that you can give us today, also to our listeners. It is a great pleasure to have you. So, for us to start, can you please give us a little bit of background? How did you start podcasting and what is the reason behind it?
Well, I started actually doing online TV interviews. I was working for a marketing and advertising agency in Jacksonville, Florida. And I say we have because I'm still doing different work with them. We have a studio as part of the offices, and the one of the lead generation concepts was this live interview on this really nice set that people can put on their websites and their social media. And originally, I started out as a producer with all my other roles at the agency. And one day, someone wasn't there, and they said, "Get in front of the camera." So from that day, I interviewed about 125 different small business owners in the area,
Wow.
and it was very concise 5-minute interviews. And then when COVID started, that paused, and I started a podcast focusing on small business owners and their marketing journeys called Small Business Marketing Then and Now. Um, Actually, prior to that, I dipped my foot into the water. It's actually tomorrow starts the 5th anniversary of something I did called 30 Days of Marketing Mavens, where I interviewed marketing experts
Wow.
around the world. Actually, I just had one question for them. It was really what was their niche, what's their expertise in marketing, and some interviews were 10 minutes, some interviews were 30 minutes based on that, and I dropped one a day, video and audio. But the problem was that I dropped it in March of 2020 when COVID hit around the world. So no one really cared about my podcast at that point.
Yes.
But it was a great experience. And I then, a couple of months later, I started Small Business Marketing Then and Now, and just shut that down because my focus now is sales coaching as opposed to coaching small business owners. And so I have one called Sales Momentum that hopefully the first episode will be launched on this coming Sunday.
Wow, that is a great news. And my previous guest, most of them, they said they started their podcast pandemic. So, how does podcasting help you, overcome the situation in the pandemic to help you in your career?
Well, it was an opportunity to be creative and to talk to people. Sometimes it's very hard to talk to people during that time when you were closed in.
Yes.
And it really helped me develop some more relationships. I finally realized and had some experts share some information with me that it really could be a great sales tool, not just as a branding piece, something to put content out on a regular basis, but also to focus on bringing in your prospects. So I really streamlined my guests for small business owners that I thought could be coaching clients for me. And I still get requests for people to push their book and to talk about their um, what they're marketing here and there, how much of an expert they are. But I really wanted to hear the journey of a small business owner, how they launched their business, how they've marketed themselves, what kind of challenges they've had and they're having, and then eventually lead it into a conversation to see if I may be able to help them in some way. Once we finish the recording.
Yeah, that is a great strategy, and that in podcasting is really helpful in a way of connecting with people and also to other business owners. Also to have a kind of not pushing your service, like you are going to get to know them first and then you offer your service. And how does podcasting like shape your career really? Like is that real does that really help you, and what is the lesson, biggest lesson that you get from doing podcasting?
I think in some ways it lets me do something that probably was in me all the time. Because I remember when I graduated college, I actually started audition for movies, and it didn't pan out. And I kind of stopped very quickly. Didn't really give it any legs to figure out whether that was what I want or not. But I still have this ability to communicate and get in front of audiences and speak to people, and had different opportunities throughout my career to do that. But here's an opportunity to really be on air. I worked for a radio station for a little while, and there I again they needed a voice, so I started voicing over
Yes.
commercials and do little bits on the air with some of the shows. So it's an outlet for me to really ask questions and to really use my brain in a different way than I do on a regular basis. But really, it's a great way to meet people and to network.
Yes, and are you on pod Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and also are you on YouTube?
I have a YouTube channel. I've used it in different ways. My
Yes.
podcast that I'm launching, Sales Momentum,
Yes.
will be on YouTube and on and I all my podcasts are on Apple and Spotify and iHeart and about 20 others platforms that you can find it just by searching me online, and my podcast and my video interviews come up because I've come back two other times. I just came back a month ago to start doing these on-air interviews as well for their online TV portals. At this point I've probably done over 500 of them, and they all show up when you Google me and click on video.
Yes, and you know what? Being in other social media platforms is a great way also to expand your reach doing your podcast. So why is it very important for you, for our fellow podcaster? Why is it very important to upload our contents on other social media platforms?
It's important for you to expand your brand. The primary thing you're doing when you're podcasting is you are doing something to strengthen your personal brand. The more you get it out there, and the more listeners that you are getting from it is an added bonus. People who are making money off of it through advertising, it's an added bonus, but it creates validity. So if someone is looking you up and trying to figure out whether you are legitimate or not, someone referred me to you, and I want to see if you are the right person to do business with. When they start looking you up and finding these podcasts and get to hear your thoughts and
Yes.
how you speak and how you think and talk about what you do, ends up warming up the call for you when the opportunity to pitch your services comes about.
Yes, exactly right. It's very important to build the brand and like personal brand. Of course in LinkedIn. So is it where you focus on LinkedIn, building your personal brand?
LinkedIn, it's my major focus. I've done things on Facebook. I've really pulled away from Facebook over the last few years. I've done some things on Instagram. I really have not devoted the time in the right way, and time is very precious. I don't have enough time in the day for everything, and I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn. That's really where I do my brand, where I post my interviews. I write 5 days a week. I'm posting information about sales
Yes.
coaching and salespeople have had the different issues that they come about on a regular basis, and it's really where I've strengthened my story.
Yes. And have you ever tried like hiring someone who will do the content for you to help you with getting more reach like that?
I haven't had problems creating content and finding viable content to put up. I've had different conversations about expanding my reach with certain people, but at the moment, I'm happy with where I am because again, it's about my brand when people find me, as opposed to me soliciting myself out there in the world.
Yes.
I don't run ads on my podcast. I'm not looking to be up there with in the heights and smart lists and the top podcasts of the world. I'm happy
Yes.
with the numbers that I get, and it's and because it's the key people that want to be following me.
Yes, and it's my conversation last night with like Jordan Paris. He is one of the top podcasters in Apple Podcast. Like he he was on the top 5 in Apple Podcasts. And he said that it's not always about being at the top. It's always about getting to the right person, or like you have the right audience. Sometimes you have a lot of followers, but they are not, most of them are not your audience. They are not your target markets. You're like that. So meaning, it's, as you have said, it's always important that we network to the right audience. And doesn't matter if you only have 1,000 or 10,000 followers, the most important is you have the right audience. Am I right?
Absolutely. It's because you have everyone has a target audience they're speaking to, whether you are a salesperson or a CEO, and you need to speak to them to hopefully figure out ways to do business with them, and them start the process of knowing, liking, and trusting you.
Yes. So, what's been the biggest lesson you've learned from hosting your own shows?
I think the biggest lesson is you don't know what people are going to say. That
Yeah.
it's which is a great um, mind game, because I, especially with the TV interviews, it's 5 to 7 minutes. It's very short amount of time. So I
Yes.
am thinking of my questions, but I also need a backup question if they say they end their answer, which totally does not match the question I'm going to ask. So my brain is really moving the entire time. It's a lot slower with the podcast because it really gives you time to develop where the conversation is going. But having my experience in radio, I made the decision to edit all my podcasts, and it took twice as long to edit because I was very sensitive to people. Again, I had a lot of my guests were never on a podcast before. Very nervous people. A lot of ums, a lot
Yes.
of you knows, a lot of broken sentences. So I was very nice to them, and
And
I
you're doing
cleaned
it
up
alone.
everything. So I'm doing it alone, and I have the ability, and I have all the things on my computer to do it, but it takes a lot of time.
Yes.
Now with this
Yes.
podcast I'm doing with a lot more people who've had more experience doing it, I'm not doing any of that. I have the intros and outros. It's going to go on to YouTube with the cutting on the video. It's going to go on to
Yes.
the podcast portals just with the audio. It'll take me about 30 minutes total to do everything and upload everything.
Yes, and that is one of the good thing about doing podcasts, because you can get to learn some stuff that sometimes you don't need to learn, but you have to learn because you're doing podcasting. The podcasting is not that really easy at the beginning. So what can you share to us the story when you do your first episode?
I think you want to really pay attention and listen. You make sure that your mind isn't wandering anywhere, because if you have the
Yes.
ability, if you're very good with networking, with talking to people, you know you have a sense of rapport. You're able to respond back and forth to questions just like you're having a conversation standing next to each other. So it's pretty much the same thing,
Yes.
but where you had here, there's a theme to what you're speaking about as opposed to just a social conversation. So you want to make sure that the answers they're giving are on the theme. You may want to bring the conversation back, but you want to make sure you're not looking at a list of questions. Okay, here's my next question, because they may give you something
Yes.
that's really powerful that makes no sense to what question number 2 is on the list. So you want to ask follow-up
Yes.
questions to what they are providing, and then really let the flow go with the podcast. I think for me, my podcasts are a maximum of around 30 minutes, but they could be as short as like 22. I set a time. I said, okay, I started my podcast at 11. At 11:20, that's my marker. At that point, it's going to end organically. I want to make sure it gets 20 minutes of solid content, and then it can go 2 minutes, it can go 10 minutes. Sometimes there's some I've gone 45 minutes in total because that's where the conversation went. It's again, I'm not advertising, I'm
Yes.
not on a schedule, whatever I put up, I'm hoping that people enjoy when they listen to it.
Yes, that is a good thing. That is also one of the advice I have got from someone I have last last week from my podcast, that he said that you just keep on talking, listen, and yeah, I'm just starting out. I am complete beginner. I am a little bit of an extrovert and I'm struggling talking with English. But a lot of people said that you just keep doing it. Most of the people I got in the show, they always say that you are good, even if I know I'm not sometimes because I'm stuttering, as you can hear. But they said just keep doing it, and I realized that if you keep doing something and you have the motivation, the courage to do it, I believe everything can be learned.
Absolutely, and you are doing this very well. You you're telling me, obviously I'm learning from what you're saying. English is not your first language, but we're having a very good
Yes,
conversation, and it's flowing, and I'm not having. I've been on some that there's been definitely a language barrier that the host was fighting through, but I think you have a very nice path that you're going to be following this journey on.
yes, this is one of my goal this year, to be a good at like comprehending English, talking with English, because in my previous client I was like, I don't know if it is like kind of joke, but it is in a team meeting. I was called like I'm always on high. I was always high by my boss, like that. So something that I experienced that I wanna make sure that it will not happen again. I want to prove that I can be good and I can be better. So doing this podcast is not just for me to learn and to improve, but also to grow my career, and to reach my goals and my dreams, because starting out podcasts always have a purpose. Like you have a purpose doing your podcast. You can promote your business. It's one way, another way to acquire clients. It's a good thing doing podcast. So for someone who are planning to start a podcast, what are the advice that you can give to them?
The first thing is figure out what you want to talk about. It's not just I'm not just talking. I'm talking about a theme. My focus is on sales and sales experts right now. That's the themes. That's the kind
Yes.
of guests I want to get. Um, Even those that have more entertaining ones, there's a focus of what they're doing in the process. That's first and foremost. Two, uh, get you'll find that you need your logo and your and different thumbnails on a regular basis. So make sure you create a good one. Make sure you, like 5 episodes in, you're already posting it up. You don't feel like maybe I did the wrong thing. I know I made
Yes.
mistakes with how I titled my podcast. Make sure you're giving each one titles. The title of this episode should not be episode 7. You really want to have a title to it,
Yes.
because that's how you're going to be found through SEO and searches randomly or more specifically.
Exactly right.
And also write some nice non-repetitive podcast notes. With AI, you're able to take a lot of the uh, just the whole transcript of the podcast, throw it into AI, and they
Yes.
can write the notes for you, make it a lot easier, because you don't want to have the same thing. Today, my guest was John Doe, and he is from X company, and this is why if it's the same thing on each one, if you do it on YouTube, you do it on Apple, and it's SEO is going to not be your friend with that.
Yes.
And you want to, as much as you want people to, again, you want people to find you. You want to make sure that you're able to be found, and that's the way to do it.
Yes, the first thing here is you still need to be authentic and still human, because in a world that's full of AI right now, there is a gap in a way that people sometimes overlook contents that are very AI and not more on human, because connection is all about being a human, and that is one thing
Yep.
we do in podcasting. We do podcasting to connect, to share our voice, and to our message.
Yeah,
Yes, and
it's a great opportunity to express your message.
Yes. And talking about, by the way, talking about your new book, Small Business Owner 101, can you share some insights about it?
It's a funny topic you bring up. Small
Yeah.
Business Owner 101 is a book that I wrote with the goal of a podcast, which actually there's 10 episodes out there of Small Business Owner 101 that I really have not promoted, but you can find it. Uh, and Because I switched gears in 2024, I was a small business marketing coach working with small business owners. And I was then I moved to work for a company for sales coaching called Southwestern Consulting. And when I switched from one to the other, I put the book on hold. The book is done. I just got to send it. I have people have been waiting for it. They harass me all the time. Where's the book? The book is 100% complete. I just did not send it because I put a pause, and I actually had a conversation with someone yesterday that about it, and I'm probably just going to figure out in the next month how to just get it published because it really is. It's called the Small Business Owner 101, the course you didn't learn in college to learn how to be a business owner or an entrepreneur. Because most colleges in the United States really don't teach that, and especially the same thing with
Yes.
sales. You're not taught how to be a salesperson. People go to medical school, become a doctor. People go to law school, become a lawyer. People get hired to be a salesperson. You shake someone's hand, they send you to a desk, they show you where the phone is, and they tell you to start dialing. No training. I had 3 different sales jobs. I had absolutely no training except for the specifics of what I'm selling. And but thankfully, it led me to run 2 different sales teams in the process. But it's a lot of this is hard, and especially when you're trying to be a business owner and entrepreneur, it really breaks down step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to I think it's 19 chapters of how to start the things you can do to start a business. And hopefully, I'll be able to share it with the world soon enough.
Yes, and you know what? It is not a theory. It's more on an experience from you. It's your experience from like 30 years doing in sales and marketing, and they can get it in a book that they can read. Like, how many pages is your book?
It's probably no more than 120 pages.
Okay. So, do you think how many days or months people can finish it, like reading like 5 pages a day?
Or you can finish it in a weekend, the book. So
Wow.
it's a very easy read. I did it on purpose so that people would not have challenges of learning this information. I want you to learn it, and I want you to move forward.
Yes, exactly right. Because there are a lot of informations out there that right now most people are have this default of they want to consume information fast. They want to learn things fast. And having something like what you said, this is a good strategy that it's only have 100 pages, so people can think that it is an easy way to learn, but it is very direct information come from you that is almost like the lessons that you've got for 30 years from your marketing. So what's next for you, for your podcast, and how can listeners support you on your journey?
Next is launching this new podcast called Sales Momentum. Probably when this episode's out, it should be out. Today is a Friday. I'm hoping on Sunday it'll all get done. Just trying to tweak some of the video part of the intro for YouTube. So we'll be available on YouTube. We'll be available on all podcast episode providers. And I hope that if you want to learn about sales from sales experts that I've spoken to about 6 already. Each interviews I've learned one more thing after the other, and the goal is to teach people sales. If they have any questions about sales, whether you have a team that's not producing well, or you have questions about your own sales abilities, feel free to reach out to me. But my website is Howard Wolpoff, S is in Sam, W is in water, C is in Charlie.com.
Okay, all right, guys, that's it for today. That is for our guest Howard Wolfoff. Thank you so much for your time today. That is a fast and insightful episode for all of us, and also to all the people that watch this episode, that we talk about your podcasting journey, your story, and also in the ventures that you are in right now. So thank you so much. Have a great day. And to all the people watching this right now, God bless you and see you at the top. Bye bye.